For 5 weeks, the anticipation has been building. We have an awesome day of Overwatch. It is playoff time. Let's go.
And the Atlanta Reign solidify their spot in the playoffs.
Boston Uprising going the distance. San Francisco Shock, one of the greatest holds I have ever seen.
The Fusion clinched their spot in the playoffs.
Congrats, Toronto fans. The Defiant are in the playoffs.
Seoul Dynasty complete the clean sweep. That's a 4-0. Oh, that was a sick charge. The bomb is there. They do it again. That is a huge kill. And the Titans will get the 7-0 in stage 1.
Absolute dominance here from this squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. I hope you guys are ready.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stage 1 playoffs. I'm Achilles, joined by Wolf, and we could not be more excited to kick things off here. We have NYXL going up against the Seoul Dynasty, their first stage playoff performance here that we're getting ready to see. NYXL have been in every single one to date, but can Dynasty get that upset? That is the big question on our minds. Let's take a look at the bracket, though, as we get ready to dive into the playoffs and see how things could unfurl here as we move forward.
Yeah, it's crazy that the majority of the teams actually in our Stage 1 playoffs have not been to playoffs before. Remember, we will move on to top 4. We'll be on ABC, as well as the grand finals there will be on ABC on March 24th, just 2 days from now. Let's talk about Seoul Dynasty, though. We know, as Danny mentioned earlier, this is their first playoff appearance, but they will not be bringing their starting lineup with Fisher this evening. It will be what we have been referring to as the B team roster, which is mostly the original Seoul Dynasty, the Lunatic High players coming through with Fitz and Marvel. So no Fisher here on this starting lineup, and that's a bit of a surprise for most fans.
Yeah, definitely a big surprise for us, especially getting ready to come in here today. You know, we knew that we were going to be casting this match, and we're like, of course, you know, Fisher versus Mono, how are these guys going to line up against each other? We're going to have to wait a little bit longer, it would seem, as we go further into this series to maybe figure that out, unless they keep Marvel in throughout.
It's pretty puzzling, to be honest, that we're not going to see him here, given that he had a great performance in the last match he played.
Of course.
So we'll see how this works out. This could come to backfire for the Seoul Dynasty as well.
It really could. So we'll have to see how they perform. Taking a look at the NYXL, though, it has been nothing but clean play from these guys throughout the entire stage.
Everyone has predicted them as the champions. Everyone. And, you know, Mono said in an interview with ESPN that, you know, versus Vancouver, they have 2 swords. We have a sword and a shield. And that was the quote he put forward, saying they can only attack, we will defend. In this series against the Dynasty, they're going to have to use that shield as the Dynasty come in very, very aggressively. Their playstyle, you could almost call it a mace with nails sticking out of it, some screws even. Yep. Very aggressive, very scrappy.
Good old spiked bat. Well, let's go ahead and bring them out here. Our first team for the Stage 1 playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a Rover, steady watching over.
First playoffs ever for this squad. It's been a long time coming, and that may be part of why we see this roster walk out. For Flata, Toby, Jaehyung, and Zumba, you know, they played through the entire inaugural season without having a single opportunity to play in playoffs, and now they get to stand in front of this crowd, and maybe it might be that they get the upset today. They go further than just first round of playoffs, but it's not going to be easy with this new roster coming through. Fitz and Marvel, no longer Fisher at the helm.
Well, their opponents, like you said, an upset is an understatement. If they could pull this off, their opponents have been in every single stage playoff to date. Let's see if they can surge forward into the semifinals by taking down the Dynasty. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the New York Excelsior.
5 back-to-back playoffs for this squad. They have not missed a single one. They come in as second seed, but every analyst across the globe is predicting this team to win the entire stage. You know, you talked about it being an upset. If Seoul's able to take this one, it might be one of the biggest upsets in Overwatch League history if it is to happen. This team comes in very defensive style, very much in a lot of ways countering what Fisher's style is on the main tank. If he is subbed in later, that matchup between Mono and Fisher is going to be an interesting one to watch, and that's the one fans expected to see tonight right out of the gates.
Yeah, I mean, expect that if Marvel does well in this first map, as we get ready to go into Control, maybe he does just play through the remainder of this series. Go ahead and take a look at some lineups here, of course. Big rivalry between these two. Jonak, formerly looking up to Ryo Jae-hong, one of the guys who was considered one of the best players in the world at one point. Now Jonak leading in almost every single metric.
This is the apprentice has become the master, right? Jonak said he looked up to Jae-hong. Jae-hong and him never got to face in Apex, as Jonak was destined to play in Apex Season 4. LW Blue dropped out. He became part of that new roster that we now know as NYXL. They never got to face each other in a high-stakes matchup like this one, where it is best of 5. You've got this first of 3 match, single elimination bracket. This is for all the marbles. And finally now, if he defeats Jae-hong here, he can prove that he has surpassed him.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the map set presented by Toyota. Of course, I have to remember Jonak's quote there saying, "I will never let you beat me." But it will be Ilios starting things off for us in this series. Then we'll move on to Hybrid, Assault, Escort, and Control if we can make it all the way to a Game 5. Of course, we don't know what maps are coming because the loser will select. So whichever team can't come out on top of Ilios will be deciding where we move for that Hybrid map. But Ilios will be the staging ground to kick things off. Seoul Dynasty changing things up, bringing out the B squad as we have, kind of given them that name. If they can get success here, it would be absolutely huge for them for the rest of this series.
And, it was mentioned on the desk earlier for the pre-show that the B squad may become the A squad. This is how Ilios is played. You can see the description there as well. First to 100% wins, and that means the first capture matters a lot. Not only when you get the first capture does your opponent have to contest it, but they will not be able to capture it until every member on the opposing side is dead. So the defender, whoever grabs it first, is going to have that massive percentage advantage, which will then lead to an ultimate lead. Now, in this meta, we're seeing a lot of Orisa on this map in particular because her halt, which will drag members towards a certain point, can knock members into the well itself. It's very strong against Winston in particular here, if he's used his jump pad already, or his jump pack.
Yeah, that's exactly what Marvel's going to be working with, is that Winston. So maybe Mono and start off this series in a nice way for the NYXL by putting him in the pit. For now, NYXL inside track on the point, but they're taking a fight. They're actually going aggressive against the Seoul Dynasty. They push their way forward, almost take down Fitz right off the bat. Massive skirmish inside here. Mono trying to cut around the corner, but he's going to be the first one to follow. Zumba finds a killing blow. Jonak going to be sunned up in the corner. They push around, and Ryo Jae-hong is going to be taking him down. They do manage to find 1 kill onto Marvel. The Cat getting ready to come through for NYXL, but with a man advantage here for the Dynasty, they should be able to flip back around and make sure that they get this first cap.
Hey, already, Jae-hong gets the first kill in the duel. The Orisa pick does not work out. They could not have positional advantage, had to engage with the composition. It's not meant to engage like that. The Orisa just simply cannot leap in like a Winston can and cannot do that same amount of AoE damage. They fought with a comp that was weaker in that situation, and as a result, Seoul Dynasty gets the lead here. Jae-hong is looking for another pick onto Jonak. That would be massive here on the defense.
Yeah, just taking these right clicks where he can, trying to get a pick off. Unable to find one so far. Rally's going to be coming through. Fleta going to be taken down. Jonak answers back. Finds a kill to open things up for the NYXL. As they get ready to work their way over onto the point, they're looking for a little bit more. They see that Jae-hong is dangerously low, and then they pushing forward. High energy here with Azaria. Manages to come up with the kill. Now they're off the point. Seoul Dynasty looking like they're going to be losing this one rather early. Only going to be 35% or so gain for them.
Yeah, an insanely one-sided fight. A very fast flip here for New York. Mono will match and actually pass the ult charge of Marvel despite starting on the Orisa and swapping. And now they will have nearly 6 ultimates. If you include the armor that's just decayed, it was 6 ultimates here that the New York Excelsior hold now on the defense. They have the defensive trance against what will be coming up here in Fitz's Graviton Surge. The Winston duel is massive, though, because both of these Winstons can knock members into the pit, and that can change everything, grab or no.
I mean, taking a look at it right now, everybody perfectly mirror match. We have the mirror tops coming through. Everybody having the same ultimates. Now they're going to be thrown in. And they locking them up. Lots of bombs going off. Zumba looking for the picks. The shields are in, but Zumba still managed to fight too. As Anamo and Mane will both be taken down. The charge forward coming in from the Seoul Dynasty as they look to get the point with 3 kills going their way so far. It seems like they will be able to do it. A lot of ultimates thrown out, pretty much everything other than Winston ultimates, but crucially, Toby maintains that sound barrier.
It's not just Apex, where Zumba has made a name for himself on the Diva. He's done it on the World Cup squad as well. Lunatic High, where he comes from, where he joined this team, is one of the original founding members of the Seoul Dynasty. He's been benched for a long time, but already coming out here with big explosive kills. Very ult efficient the way that Seoul Dynasty retook this. They get to hold on to that very important Primal Rage, and they still have that sound barrier. Nene using the grab later in that fight means he doesn't have one, and he hasn't built even half the charge of Fitz here because they were losing that fight.
Fitz surging forward massively there, now going to be at 90%. Mono leaping into the back, has the Primal Rage rolling for another 6 seconds. He doesn't really have a target. Gets the drop down here into Marvel, who is still holding on to his Primal Rage. Knocks him into the pit, but he's got the leap, so Marvel's going to be safe. Comes his way into the back, and now he's wreaking havoc. Pops the Primal Rage, does not get us a points around, and Libero will be taken down as Fitz pushes forward 100 energy on this Zarya with another grab built up, but he doesn't have to use it yet. He can wait for the reapproach from NYXL as they clean him up, if there's going to be one, because right now, Dynasty are at 92%.
This is such a great fight for Dynasty. I think this is going to be the one that ends it here. They can't get onto the point realistically here. They're just too blocked out. Only Lumeko, and he can touch it.
Yeah, saw him wrapping around the back, but he cannot make it in time. The first round, very convincingly going the way of Seoul Dynasty.
Now, this is a map type, though, that New York Excelsior, especially well here, not necessarily going to be their best way to play their style. It's a bit chaotic. There's a lot of X factors in terms of the Primal Rages, the flanking positions. They didn't get to play their poke style like they normally do with Jonak, where they chunk down members of the opposing team, then commit to engagements, because there's simply too many line of sight blockers across the map, whether it's the, grapevine looking vents, you've got the walls of those buildings there. Only really the center is where Jonak's able to get those shots off, and he was dove upon. And we saw much better Winston play, honestly, out of Marvel overall, playing the more defensive style in the later primals. Now, New York can play their style. This is the most open part of Ilios, and this is where he's going to be able to, as Zenyatta, Jonak will do a lot of damage. They can commit into those fights and kill the weakened members.
Well, let's see, again, scrappiness off the bat. Pushing their way forward, a lot of damage going through on Amano, nearly getting knocked off the side, however, with Zumba, but does manage to jet his way back onto solid ground, keeps himself safe. Meko getting tagged up, and YXL having to play back behind the shield at the moment, deny away this poke damage is flying in from Jayhawk. Cap gets ready to roll through, and Dynasty will grab control first.
Gotta say, Marvel's more defensive style is really giving New York some trouble here, and it's normally defense, defense, defense we see from New York, but perhaps they didn't expect Marvel to be in the slide. Perhaps they expected to be playing against Fisher, and they haven't prepared against this style. They're struggling.
Well, stun up here on a Marvel. He'll get knocked into the corner, trying desperately to keep him alive. Goes lower and lower, but nothing will take this man down. He is still in the fight, and Meko gets popped out of his mech in all of this chaos. Now the grab's gonna be coming through from Fitz. Marvel gets a pin on Amano. Bomb thrown down straight in front. Shield comes up, but it's not gonna be enough to save the baby Diva's life. Meko will get popped from Seoul Dynasty. Surge forward again, back towards NYXL.
This is insane what we are watching right now. Marvel is playing an insanely passive Reinhardt. He's forcing Mono into uncomfortable situations. He's forcing Mono to be the aggressor, which has never been his strength. And now that they have this control, it's going to be that way again. New York has to be the aggressor. They're the ones who have to make this attack approach.
Very far forward now, though, is Marvel. Managed to keep him alive once. Can they do it again? Seems like it's not going to be the full commitment from the NYXL this time around, so we'll be able to retreat with the rest of his squad safely. Nene holding on to this grab. The first one that he's built up on this round fits 30% away from the next one. Grab's going to be coming down. Jayhawk bumps the Transcendence. He's not quite in onto the grab yet, but now joins in. Sound barrier comes in from the NYXL. Shatter out. Not going to find much from Mono. Marvel, however, still going to be taken down by Fitz. The team is dropping like flies. NYXL do not stand a chance. The team wipe comes through. Seoul Dynasty looking to get a 2-0 start on Ilios.
Fitz with a huge grab there. Not even full energy. It doesn't matter. He hits the grab. He commits despite the loss there of Marvel. He tanked all the cooldowns, all the damage. They come in, they commit. No fear here, and even if they lose this next fight, they're down on ultimates, but with 99%, the defenders, they will be able to build up 6 and very likely take the 2-0 you just mentioned.
High energy here from Fitz right up into their faces for a moment there as he tries to get that next one online, but Topi's going to get picked off. Then go finding that kill. Jonak now with the Transcendence online will be forced to use it. He goes lower and lower. He's pushing forward. He's trying to guide the team with him. He's saying, look, guys, I'm up in the front. I've got the healing. Follow me and take down this tank line. Marvel will crumble. This will be the flip.
Two critical things. We saw Jonak use his Transcendence in that fight. That's a huge tool they are not going to have for the ensuing grab. And Jayhong lived long enough, played back knowing that he just wanted his teammates to buy time on the point while he built that last part of his transcend. He was about 50. He got the last 50%. These are the two tools they're going to have to flip this point. Very unlikely New York can hold this without an eat on the grab by Meko. If he can eat the grab, that's their best shot. Otherwise, they're just going to be trading up here in ults.
Historically, Meko not leading the charge in ults eaten here across the entire league. That'll be Janu on the Titans. Grab's gonna be coming through, only locks up Toby. Transcendence around the corner, J-Hawk joins in, tries to super live, but it's not gonna be enough. They manage to focus him down, but now the answering grab comes through, pops up into the air. Libero's gonna be gone, the bomb's not gonna find any picks, but the rest of the Dynasty are. Dream members down on the NYXL for just Toby's life, who will rejoin very swiftly. They open up the point, the flip getting ready to come back through, only 45% gained at the moment as they try desperately to delay. Meko even gonna be using the self-destruct, trying to make it back in, but J-Hawk has the right click. They take him down. The flip will now come in. The pile driver hits. Libero's knocked out of the park, and this is looking like a 2-0. Unless he can pull up a miracle with the back of the shatter there from Marvel, they can't do anything. Seoul Dynasty kick off their first stage playoff appearance with a 2-0 victory over the New York Excelsior.
No one could have seen this coming, even if it was Fisher in the starting lineup, but this is the old Lunatic High lineup. What an upset already off the bat here.
Absolutely
great defensive style.
Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers way to start this. Let's see how it continues when we come back from the break in just a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The Houston Outlaws were just about to the end of Rialto when the Atlanta Reigns Dogman kept his entire team alive almost single-handedly through ults from Sombra, Reinhardt, Zarya, and Zenyatta, then followed up with a perfectly timed bionic grenade to punish his enemies and keep his entire team alive for the fight.
Well, that's one way to send a message. And the Atlanta Reigns will take the series, solidify this fight in the playoffs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a way to kick off the Stage 1 playoffs. Seoul Dynasty able to take Ilios with a 2-0. NYXL looking out of sorts at the start of this. We know that Dynasty, especially when Fisher is in the roster, loves to go super aggressive. But it seemed like NYXL just weren't ready for it with Marvel coming in. They were playing both sides of the coin, passive at some moments, and then also going super aggro at other times.
They traded up on ults by playing defensive, forcing NYXL to approach them on a lot of these fights. In particular, on the first round there on Well, we saw Marvel use his Primal Raid second, dive in second, do that extra damage. Using your ultimate second is always going to give you the advantage.
Well, let's go ahead and throw down to Mika real quick, because she's got some insight for us, so maybe it'll lead to why NYXL did not pick up this victory here at the start.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I talked to New York before the game started, and they said that they picked Ilios specifically because they were confident that they could take this map off of Seoul. But we just saw the opposite happen, and I heard that Seoul said if they took the first map, they would have the momentum and the confidence to take this series away from New York. So who will actually be the victor at the end of the day? We'll just have to find out. So for now, back to you, Wolf and Achilles.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, a lot of you know, expectations for themselves, the NYXL coming in, thinking that they're going to be able to get that first round of control. I think that based on all of the analyst predictions so far, touting that they could very well be the finalists, if not the champion of Stage 1, I think that that is a pretty warranted expectation for them. But now they do go down a 2-0, very one-sided Ilios. That could mess with them mentally.
I mean, this is something that New York and previously Luxury Watch Blue has done in the past, is get nervous and choke in these big, important moments. This isn't the important moment. The important moment is against Vancouver, right? I think they will be able to calm down. I think they will be able to bring us to a tied series after, you know, we head into map 2. It'll be their map pick, so they don't have to face Seoul on Numbani necessarily, which you would imagine had Seoul lost, they would have picked here, since we do have loser picks in playoffs. So New York now just needs to get themselves back in the right mindset. They were expecting to play against Fisher. He's very aggressive. That works very well for them, right? And that's what they've done throughout this entirety of this stage during regular season is wait, let Jonak do that poke damage, come in, collapse, get those first kills, the first kill, the first 2 kills, and then you win every fight, you trade up in ultimates. Marvel didn't allow that to happen, and I think they were caught a little bit off guard by the fact that he was playing such an opposite style than Fisher, which is probably what they scrimmed and prepared for heading into this first playoff match.
I mean, you can see all the investment going in. It was almost Titans-esque there on Ruins. All of the investment just trying desperately to keep Marvel alive. They were able to do it, and then they turned the fight around. So it's fantastic stuff from Dynasty to begin with this series. But like you said, loser does get to pick the next map. So Hybrid coming up next. Where do you think that we are going to be headed? Because Numbani, historically, not the greatest for NYXL. The last time they played against Dynasty, actually saw a fuller hold. They came back in, they full held NYXL, and were able to take a victory there. I think we're going to stray away from that, but where else do you think they would want to take us?
I think that we're probably looking at King's Row here, right? I mean, it's a map where you have so many choke points you could utilize, your tank lineup, your tank combos. You're going to have substitutions here. We'll talk about the maps in a second. Fisher subbing in for Toby.
Okay. There's some...
We'll need to verify that one. I'm like, wait till we see all the subs here.
There's some interesting stuff going on here. But yeah, just going to be swapping out in the different seats. Michelle coming in for Fitz. So now we're starting to look a bit more like the standard squad that we're used to seeing from the Dynasty. As long as Marvel is not sitting at the end of that row.
Yeah, we'd have to check on that one. Munchkin will be coming in as well over Zumba, so no longer will we see Zumba. And the question is Marvel still in now as well? Because that's going to be the big question here.
Okay,
Jexay
no, he's
comes
not.
in.
So Jexay will be coming through. So swapping back over to the standard squad that we have seen from the Dynasty. So maybe just a control thing coming in with the B squad, as we've been calling it. Either way, looked fantastic. So now the other question here is, if they lose on Hybrid, do they feel pressure to go back to that squad that got them a win on control?
I mean, that is the big question here. But if they're able to take the second map, yeah, I mean, that's the big question. You know, if they could take the second map, then I think that you stick with this roster. You've got this massive momentum advantage. When you take a look at how the Zenyatta matchup went, obviously in terms of final blows, you're going to see advantage to Jaehong. They were winning almost every team fight.
It's just a one pick.
Yeah.
At the beginning, but that was all it took.
Yeah. This is, honestly, when I look at this, I actually feel like Jonak is in a lot of ways more impressive than Jaehong because they lost the majority of the fights. He's still only 4 deaths to Jaehong's 1 as well. So it's a pretty close matchup so far. I know everyone was hyping this one up because it's the Master versus the Apprentice, but I didn't think it would be this close. I thought Jonak would destroy. It ends up being very, very close to start things off. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of these transcends for Jaehong be a little bit more impactful than Jonak because the team fights go secondary to the Seoul Dynasty. They get the heals coming through. Will be Hollywood, the map choice here.
Okay, so not King's Row, but another one that is very friendly to the 3-3 style. And one that is very familiar to the NYXL. So not too shocking. Numbani definitely would have been a curveball, but this or King's Row, both picks do make sense and are somewhat unsurprising for them. But finding success, that's where the importance really lies for them, because like you said, if they go down 0-2, do they just lose? Can they actually try to engineer a reverse sweep over Seoul Dynasty when they have that much momentum behind them? Right now, it's just Ilios. So it's not getting out of hand quite yet for the NYXL, but we have to see what happens as we get ready to jump in from map number 2. Let's go ahead. There we go.
So taking a look at this map in particular, one of the reasons why I thought we'd see Kings Row is because it's a map that's pretty standard and straightforward, right? There's not a lot of tricky parts to it. It's very straightforward. It's choke point oriented. We've seen so much success with Nene. Setting up grabs into shatters and the self-destructs. Like the tank ultimate combos for New York have been absolutely stellar all season long. The reason why you take, I believe, Hollywood, which you can see it's a payload map here where you escort the payload after, it's a hybrid map I should say, because you escort the payload after being the first cap. You have so much space to work with throughout the entire map to poke with Zenyatta, and this is Zenyatta's Paradise map. On both the attack and the defense, the Zenyatta matchup often determines whether you get a fast cap on A. If you get the Transcends first, you can force a fight, and that's what New York will look to do here as they head through. We'll see Mono throw his fire strikes in. Jonak's going to be looking for a right-click kill or just damage enough to get that first Transcendence up. Otherwise, they're going to have to approach the high ground, which is always advantage to Seoul here as they're the defenders.
Well, Jonak looking for those picks, tags up Jexay just a bit there on that high ground. Working his way into the security room for another target. It's going to be a backside wrap around to the point. They're trying to fake it out a little bit. Seoul Dynasty moves over to Cafe. Now NYXL going to have the low ground, and Seoul has to jump down if they want to contest this. So Fisher goes around the backhand side. He is isolated, but Anamo at the moment not hunting for a way to poop him into the rest of the squad.
Yeah, this is going to be really difficult for them to win now that they've taken so much damage. Fisher is isolated.
Yeah, they're pushing forward, now taking their way up. Almost grabbed the first one for free. Will have it now. Almost 36% snagged for the NYXL. So we still have a bit of a standoff here. No one really going full commitment on the fight. But as I say that, Fisher goes for the fire strike, nearly taking down Libero. Will be able to stay alive. Michelle keeps going lower and lower. Now they have the point for themselves for a moment as the Dynasty have to peel back and get topped up. Sure those HP bars are in a solid spot.
Ready. Trance is almost ready.
Yeah.
You need to use it here.
They Hong about to be matching. They work their way up. 2 ticks now going to be snagged. 77% for the NYXL. Both support ultimates online. Jexay significantly further behind Anamo at the moment. Seoul Dynasty going to be losing the first member. Flutta going to be taken down now. Jae Hong picked off by Jonak. And that will just be it. A no ultimate fight coming through for A. NYXL, this is back to their slow play style where they just make the enemy team step to them. They make their way onto the point. It was a great fake out as they got their way onto A.
Yeah, and that was basically one of the craziest fights you could ever win is New York. They did it with no ultimates against high ground. It was good focus fire. Nene ends up being the better Zarya here, has high energy, gets that first pick. It's a tug of war game. They do win it with a decent time bank here, but what's more important is that they didn't have to use ult, so they're about to have 6 here pushing through the street space. And with the cart here, they can defend it with ult advantage.
Well, now they will be coming out. The grab thrown in by Nene. Shatter getting dropped in. Not going to be fun to do much, but the bomb from Mecco will find 2 as Fisher and Jexay both get taken down. Fletta only able to answer for 1 as he burns through an ammo, but the rest of the squad going to be taken down. Michelle going to be staggered out with the Baby Divas. The Limousine will continue to advance forward through the streets phase.
This is the part of the map that functions the most like Kings Row, right? And they got through the choke point. As the attackers, that's the hardest part. Now once you get to this slightly more open but still narrow choke on the streets phase, that's when you're going to get these shatter into big bomb combos from Mecco and Mono that we saw so much through stage 1, leading to their undefeated performance here. Now they swing around this part. Seoul Dynasty does get out of the choke here, out of the studio, but they do not have a massive positional advantage.
Yep, Bomb going to be opening things. Michelle tosses that one out. Does manage to get a pick off onto Jonak. So still crucial member eliminated away from the NYXL, so good pick for him. Mono going lower in the front lines. Nearly taken down. He's trying to retreat, but they push forward to Munchkin. Swinging away with those left clicks. Will be able to take him down. So Cart in control of the Dynasty, but they can't play all the way up into the choke where they would like to be.
So when you take a look at the scariest part for Seoul Dynasty is basically ever getting wiped here and then not being able to reapproach the payload itself out of the 2 entrances that go into the studio. So they're going to try to take fights away from the cart using this high ground. New York's going to avoid them to the right side here to try to force them to jump down. Look at that damage coming out from Jonak there.
Yeah, Fletta nearly being eliminated, just melts right through those shields. Grabs online from both sides, grab, opening things. Fletta uses his first. Pin in. That's going to be Nene eliminated, so no chance to use his grab, which means the retreat call comes in for the NYXL. See how many casualties they can get here. Yeah, Mono stunned out of that charge. Nicely done by Munchkin. Helps scoop up an extra one.
Now, this is a great start here for the Dynasty on this B defense. They can really snowball this now, too. Because as the attacking team here, when Jaehong has Transcendence, you're not going to get much out of this grab. And then Seoul Dynasty can control this defender's advantage here. And even sometimes can force, you know, the support ultimates to be used first before the grab even goes down. Then you've got double advantages. The high ground here is massive. Look at how difficult it is for New York to make this approach. They have to go underneath, which means the drop down could be very powerful. Speed boost already on cooldown now. They just used it.
Yep, wrapping their way through the saloon. Now going to be on the defender's side of the cart. Seoul Dynasty just trying to play this one as patiently as they can. Flood up one of the high ground, threatening as he tries to build up that grab. 20% away. Nene still holding on to his. Not that high of energy. Goes ahead, flicks over to the side, pins it in, but now Nene going to be taken down. Transcendence comes out from the side of the NYXLs. Jonek just tries to keep his team alive. Bomb comes in. Fleta says thank you very much for the energy. Sound barrier will help keep him alive. Still in control of the cart. Mono not going to be able to find anyone with a pin. Taken down in transit as Jaehong just snipes him out as he's zipping his way along. The shields come in. Anamo, a major overcommitment with that sound barrier. Doesn't really get to anybody other than himself and Jonek.
I have to say that I cannot overstate this. Seoul Dynasty has basically done this. I mean, they have won back-to-back fights using high ground. We're going to take a look at this replay again. Fisher sets it all up here with this big shatter. And it's these moments where you see Mono's out of position. And I don't know what's going on with the tank line here for New York Excelsior tonight, but they are not playing up to what they've shown us already in regular season. Now they have the Transcendence, and there's not even a grab. The last grab was used by Nene, got no value. And there's no way, realistically, for New York to take this high ground. So they have to take a far approach, which eats further time.
Fleta holding on to another one, has the limo. Perfect way to do it, but no, he just goes ahead, lobs it down. Locking up the tank line, and they do not stand a chance with no support ultimates. Jonek building up these Transcendences fairly quickly, but it's not going to be fast enough. Can't keep his squad alive. Now we're down to 20 seconds remaining on this attack, held just in front of point B. And they'll pop out Meko here and just leave him to his own devices, it would seem.
Fisher's aggressive style, he finds a way. They've been using their Transcendences so sparingly. Jaehong keeps holding them. He's still got another one. There's no way New York wins this fight. Absolutely none.
They're going to be very tough. See what happens. Transcendence, the only thing they have to work with right now from the side of the NYXL is already going to be used. Shatter coming out.
It gets
knocked
nothing,
up
really.
Anamo, but they don't finish him off. Healing out for the Transcendence as well there to keep the Lucio alive. Cart starting to inch their way back forward. The bomb getting ready to become available for Michelle as Fleta gets closer and closer to the grab.
Okay, this is a bad position for the Dynasty. Also, the high ground's finally controlled by New York. Maybe they can take this fight, actually. Look at Fisher.
This grab has to land. If Meko denies this one away, that should be the push into B to bump the time bank. It does. Nail a couple members. The bomb going up. Then he just disappears. The bomb gets a pick off on the Mono. They take him down. Meko's knocked out as well. And this will be the cleanup. The OT bar already plummeting. And the Seoul Dynasty, they look more alive than they ever have in this stage.
Never have we ever seen them in playoffs, and now they're 2-0 against the team, well, they're very close to potentially being 2-0 against the team that everyone expected to win the whole stage.
Big expectations on the defense from the NYXL. Let's see if they can pull it off when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Fisher coming back into the roster, helping his squad lock up a point B hold over the NYXL on their attack here on Hollywood, our second map of the series. Seoul Dynasty already kicking things off fantastically with that win on Ilios, now following it up with a wonderful defense. Great ult economy coming through from them throughout showing restraint, and NYXL stumbling, showing that they don't really know what the heck to do to break through this squad.
Remember that on Thursday, April 4th, we will have the start of Stage 2.
Yeah.
Philly Fusion versus the Excelsior.
Not too far away.
But talking about this situation here now, like New York realistically needs a full hold, because if you don't full hold on this map, usually the attacking team gets an advantage, and pushing to B happens almost every time on this map. It's rare to get a hold on B. You see holds on C, and you see full holds. You do not see the hold that we just saw from Seoul Dynasty. Extremely efficient. Will be Michelle pulling out one of his more common heroes here, the Sombra. It's not rare to see Michelle on this. He's going to try to draw them off the high ground with this backdoor-esque move where he sits on the point and threatens capture, and New York has to respond. So they do drop down, and now they no longer control the high ground. Seoul's going to wrap around the left side. Brilliant move here, kind of a pincer-style tactic.
Yeah, wonderfully done. Namo as well, going to get stunned up, but he was already falling off the top, so no way to follow up for a kill onto him. Now we get back to that standoff. NYXL was looking really good in this exact moment on their attack. It was a sweet space where things really started to fall apart. So let's see what Seoul Dynasty can do to engineer a cap on A. Push their way down. Munchin going in, gets the son of an Amano. They have him in the corner and they take him down. That could be it. Already things unraveling for the NYXL on this defense. Point A being snagged, the first tick rolling through. Now they're looking for more as the Seoul Dynasty push off to get some kills.
What a disaster.
And now Libero going to be gone. That is A in the books. A massive time bank coming through and not very far to go, just in front of point B. Is all that the Dynasty need to move to match point already in this first playoff series.
Michelle comes in, he gets the hack onto Libero. That means there's no shield bash available, and that means that Fisher can free swing. He doesn't have to hold his shield. Comes through, does a ton of extra damage to Mono. Mono's the target there, gets hit by the Discord Orb, and that's all she wrote. I mean, that's the end of A. This is a huge time bank, and ult advantage, including EMP. Now to swing through this choke point, New York cannot contest with 60% of a grab. Huge advantage for Seoul.
EMP going to be thrown down. Multiple members of the NYXL, but crucially, Jonek does manage to get the Transcendence in to try to keep his squad alive. Shatter going to be coming down, however, and on the back of that, the Dynasty will win the fight.
What is this New York Excelsior? This doesn't look familiar, and I see EMP come through. Sure, we see Jonak with the amazing trans timing there, but they must have realized, they must have known the EMP would come first. They did not split, they did not react, and then it's the follow-up grab now that the trans is gone that does them in, and this is a pre-push through. They need to be careful, need to track down Michelle. If he builds another EMP, that's the win condition for the map. That's going to put them on match point. They cannot allow him to build that for free.
Well, swinging away, Fisher right up into the front, already takes Mono down below half HP. Jackson boom him over to the side, grab's gonna be coming out for NYXL, the bombs up into the air from Mekko. Mono, however, gonna be taken down by Mekko. Swings it back into their favor with a triple kill off the back of the bomb. Dynasty will be retreating. Don't commit too much outside of the rally, though.
This is the turning point here for New York. They have to keep this momentum up now. They used a ton of resources for this, and that means that Namo's sound barrier is gonna probably have to be the answer to this next EMP. Michelle has been constantly hacking Libero from coming out of Vision, coming out of Cloak, so that he can't be shield bashed and he can get free harassed. This is pulling New York back, and that's when Seoul Dynasty are making their big plays here. This shatter combo there with the bomb is what gets them back into it and gets them control of this high ground, but it was a very close call to an insanely fast push to B.
Oh, working their way around the back. Michelle nearly with that next EMP ready to roll.
Early translocator there too, he's ready for it.
Yeah, trying to set it up in the fight. Libero going lower and lower. Michelle's got the back angle on him. Manages to burn him down. Soundberry comes in trying to keep Mono alive with a pin from Fisher. Will take him down despite the shielding. Now Mekko's going to be broken out. One more realistic fight for the NYXL to try to defend this, and it's still over 2.5 minutes on the clock. Dynasty have ults in the bank at the moment.
I mean, this is insane. They had the hacks coming through, and they are just denying Libero from getting bashes. EMP comes out. They use the barrier at the wrong timing. I mean, this could be it right here.
Love to see the
Back
grab.
on the trap.
Knocks him out. That's going to be a hack on Jonik, as you say, in the back. He can't use a transcendence. He doesn't feel him. It comes in late. Meko's trying to stay in the suit. We'll be able to do so, but for a little bit longer. Now they pop him out. They take him down. The card advances. Seoul Dynasty. They make it look easy. Move up 2-0 in this set. One more map to go. Assault could decide it all. NYXL, they need the reverse sweep.
Michelle with the big plays on the Sombra. Unbelievable hacking Libero non-stop. Getting that crucial hack on the Jonak there in the end.
Absolute
and what an
nuts.
upset we may be watching here tonight.
Whew. Well, I need to cool off. I'm going to be able to do that because we got halftime coming up in a bit, so stay tuned.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
The Seoul Dynasty are trying to pull up a major first round upset. They're just one map win away from sending the NYXL packing up 2-0 at the half. Welcome back, everybody, to halftime. Malik here with Zoe, and for the first time, we got Sideshow. How you feeling, bro?
What's happening? What?
Yeah, what a great first halftime for you to talk about.
That's crazy.
I know, right? All right. So going into this match, you know, the Seoul Dynasty, they had their B lineup in there. We're expecting NYXL to come out and steamroll. Absolutely did not happen.
Nope.
It's a A- lineup. It's not a B lineup. That's what
might not even be a
guy
minus.
Matt said.
Might
It's
not
an
even
A+.
be minus. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, nobody expected Seoul to come through this. All of the analysts, we all predicted NYXL to even be the winners of the entire thing.
Right.
And now
underwater mahjong, remember?
Yeah, I know.
It's not happening. All right, so before we get into this half, you got a little bit of insight for us, right?
I do indeed, yeah. I've got an Insights powered by Intel where I'm going to walk you through what happened at the beginning of this first map, because I think it was incredibly interesting. Now, basically, this lineup for the Seoul Dynasty, I think, they were really not expecting. And previously, they've run DPS when they've had these guys in. So Mano was over on the Orisa. And I think this was to try and counter a DPS comp. And instead, yeah, the Oats composition, you recognize it in the crowd. And as soon as they realized that it was actually Winston triple tank, triple support, they immediately pause, realize where the supports are, and have to try and engage. So they're really trying to get aggressive into the Winston triple, because otherwise you're just playing a worse composition. And I think this is really indicative of the fact that NYXL had no idea what to expect. They didn't know they were going to be running this roster. They didn't know what compositions they were going to be running. And even when we went on to these guys playing triple tank, triple support, with both teams having a Rhine on the rest of Ilios, they had no clue what style Seoul were going to be playing either. So this is an NYXL that got rattled straight off the bat. You can see Mano here, they try and do their best. They've got the hold, they nearly take down Fitz, but at the end of the day, this really just isn't something that's going to be able to work for you if you pick the wrong composition in that fight. And it sets you up with a huge disadvantage.
It does, however, we do have to give New York credit. They were reactionary to it. Mano got picked off, and immediately after, they did switch the composition. It's just, if you're going up against New York, they're really good defensive. They like being on point. If you're getting on a control map the point versus New York, you're forcing them to play aggressive. And that's the one thing they do not like and they're not looking confident in.
All right, so in that first map, you know, we saw the B team in there, and I thought that we had a couple highlight moments, mainly coming from the Zarya play from Fitz. Did that catch you guys off guard a little bit, that he was so good and kind of outplayed Nene?
Honestly, I didn't expect that because we've been hyping up Nene so much in the past, but he saw no light. Look at that average energy upkeep there. 47 on Nene's side, and then 72. That's so much more damage Fitz got done. And that's the only damage the team really had on the other side from New York. Yeah. Because Jonek was taken out of the equation, Mano was taken out of the equation. So it was all kind of on Nene to be the damage dealer for them.
I think there's a word for this with the NYXL might be familiar with. It's called a choke.
It's the medical term.
That's the medical terminology. It's called a choke. They are really struggling to build up these ults, and when the big ult, either Jonak doesn't have his trans for the grab, something's going wrong here for this team.
All right, so Fisher eventually did come back into the game in the second map, Hollywood. How do you guys think he performed then?
I think he rolled and smoked Mano in the second map, honestly. He is getting the better end of that matchup, and I wouldn't have expected it because Mano's been playing so phenomenally well so far. Right. But the guy's been hitting crazy Earth Shatters. Mano was caught out of position a bunch of times. I mean, this play basically won them Hollywood because they just completely stopped NYXL's momentum with one Earth Shatter.
Yes, it's just everything goes in the Seoul Dynasty's favor right now. Fisher is getting a lot of great support from the Fleta. The bubbles have been on point on that side. And on the other side, Mano is kind of left to his own devices. He's being picked off a lot. I think he did have the most deaths on his team. So they do have to figure out something which is not working well in their tank lineup right now.
All right, so we've seen this movie before. The NYXL down 0-2. What adjustments do you think that they're making back there, Pavane and the crew? What adjustments do you think they're going to make coming into the second half?
I think personally a lot of it might be mental. I think coming into this, perhaps they got rattled by the Seoul Dynasty and weren't expecting this roster to be fielded at the beginning. And their coaches will be trying to calm them down and make sure that they really have a good plan for the rest of the half. It's going to be tough to be able to come back. They've got to play better Overwatch if they're going to be able to win. And it's really unlikely, honestly.
But see, the thing is that you have to say it's a mental thing for them. That is what confuses me, because that was the one thing New York never had an issue with. They were always calm. They were always collected. There was never a moment where I personally felt like, oh, the nerves got the better of them. So I'm just confused at this point. I have no idea what's going on with that team. So I can't even tell you what they have to clean up. It just looks like everything. Better Overwatch.
I'll tell you what's going on. The NYXL, they got caught slipping. Can the Seoul Dynasty pull off the upset? They're one map win away. We'll find out right after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
On the Excelsior game.
You know what's up.
I'm here with a very special guest. You may know him from, yes, everybody give it up. You may know him from Reading Rainbow, you may know him from Roots, you may know him from Star Trek. I know him as my dad, so everybody give it up for LeVar Burton. So welcome to the Blizzard Arena, Dad. Are you excited to be here? This is your first time here. What is it like being in the Blizzard Arena?
This is a pretty cool arena, and I'm very excited to be here. Overwatch League is blowing up, and I'm happy to be able to say I was here checking it out.
Awesome, thank you. And I know that you're a nerd beacon for a lot of people because you played Geordi LaForge on Star Trek, but I also know you're a nerd because you do play video games. So please give us a little bit of history with your experience of video games. What got you into it?
My experience with video games begins with you. We started playing video games when you were just beginning to walk and talk. We started with CD-ROM games. We graduated to Lara Croft Tomb Raider. You kept going, and I now get to stand on the sidelines and marvel at your prowess. This is genuinely your world. You're legit, Meek. You're a legit girl.
You're embarrassing me, Dad. But now let's get back to Overwatch.
Okay.
Like, I gotta ask, favorite team here in the Overwatch League?
Hey, it's the city that never sleeps, New York, New York. I'm an Excelsior fan!
Whoa, that got some mixed reviews. Can you give some words of encouragement to the New York boys, though? Because I think they need it going into the second half.
Second half. Come on, you guys. You can do this. You know how to do this. Get your act together and just kill the map, okay?
You heard it, New York. LeVar Burton wants you to kill the map. And I just want to know, what do you want to say out there to all these awesome Overwatch fans watching the game, playing games, you know, probably dads and daughters out there playing games together?
Yeah, I love it when I hear from fans that say, especially women that say that they bonded with their dads over Star Trek. I love it when I can say that I bonded with my daughter over video games.
Stop, you're embarrassing me. Oh God, that's gross. All right.
I took it too far.
I'm thoroughly embarrassed. All of Twitch knows that I love my dad, and that's weird. And yeah, back to you, Wolf and Achilles. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Is that weird?
It wasn't weird. It wasn't weird at all. I mean, if LeVar Burton wants to kiss me on the cheek, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Nerd icon for me. Huge fan of Star Trek. But man, you know, it seems like Seoul Dynasty, fans of LeVar Burton as well, they're going off the lyrics of the Reading Rainbow. They said, we can go anywhere. We're going to the semifinals. They're really poised to make this happen right now. They're up 2-0, one more map.
I mean, if you take a look, it's in the record books. New York Excelsior has never missed a playoff. This is a massive upset if the Seoul Dynasty is able to come off of a weak performance in regular season. They narrowly got through. They barely have a winning record versus a team. They are 4-3 versus a 7-0 team who's overall been so clutch and has been predicted by everyone to win the entire thing. But their road might end on Volskaya, the second map they've chosen here.
Yeah, I mean, already Hollywood not going their way. Volskaya could be the final nail in the coffin here for the NYXL. Reverse sweep, absolutely necessary for them to advance into those semis. Otherwise, Seoul Dynasty already first appearance, and they could punch their way through to that round of 4. So let's see if they can do it as they kick things off on defense.
All right, well, the key here for New York is to use their playstyle that we've always seen them have success with Jonak getting on the high ground. Seoul Dynasty's goal is to prevent New York from getting to the left side. The left side approach here on A, which will be the first capture point of 2 here, is where New York likes to make their attack. And we'll see Jonak try to get up on that high ground and then poke everybody down. For Seoul, they might want to intercept on that route. You can see they're taking that left side approach I was talking about. They're not going to take the right side forklift because it doesn't give Jonak really good line of sight. This is one of New York's weaknesses, is their predictability. They're so good at this, but Seoul Dynasty can predict it as well. Even still, they do gain control of the high ground. Michelle's looking to knock them off just below, hiding down there.
Yeah, waiting for his moment.
Echo's already down.
Yeah, already got a drop. Johnny takes a lot of damage, has to push his way into the back. As Jaehong building up almost double his charge at the moment. In onto this point. This slow, patient style, way that NY loves to play. So far working out as they grab 1.5 ticks for themselves. Seoul Dynasty now in a really awkward position where they have to
re-engage. They do.
Two ticks going to be given up. Fisher leading the charge, pushes forward. Both tanks going to be knocked down below half HP. The stun comes in from the side, however. Didn't see it coming. Libero sets it up, and Nene scoops the kill. Excelsior trading one back on Abano, but how much is going to be lost? Jaehong spamming away, trying to do some work. Huge on it, but Nene takes him down. Another stun coming in, setting up a kill, but NYXL still going lower and lower on these HP bars. Jexay trying to stay alive, gets a Zarya bubble. Keeps healing up, but they finally will be able to finish him off. Libero, so much work being done by him with these shield bashes, with these whips coming in.
And he was just previously bullied on Hollywood by Michelle on the Sombra. He makes two massive plays. The stuns there coming through, especially the one onto Jaehong there. We had Jaehong's first-person view. He was barely able to build the trance, but just not able to use it right before he got stunned. So Libero identifying that he did way less damage, Jonak did, than Jaehong, and that was a big ult they needed to collapse in on and prevent. So that's a huge stun there with the shield bash, absolutely essential. Now they could potentially grab a double cap here if they could force the trance out early, but Jaehong's playing far back. It's very unlikely that he is going to waste this important ultimate, even if New York try to feign an attack here. But that's their goal, is to get that ult out, one way or another.
Nene gonna be looking to set it up. Gonna build up that energy, waiting for his bubble to come back. Has it now, as they start pushing their way up. Trying to get around that corner, trying to get a decent angle in. Michelle just waiting patiently. You can see the energy plummeting. No one really hitting his targets, but now finally Shield comes in. Perhaps gonna be good. Transcendence is out. Bomb gonna be dumped in by Michelle. Looking for the big Meko as well. Uses his, but not gonna be able to find anything on either side. Sound barriers are in. Jexay gonna be matching. Fisher taken down first, however, as Mono kills him with a pin. Pushes himself way outside of the fight, but Libero follows up, gets rid of Munchkin. Getting back onto the enemy. Brigitte here, Jaehong now gonna be taken down, so things looking very good for the NYXL as they gain control of the point, and they might just finish it right here with a massive time bank.
He needs to tag. Then they've got
his way back through. Shatter coming in. Not gonna find anything, and Fisher gets taken down, and that'll just be it. 4:56 on the clock. NYXL firing back. Huge time make for them here on Volskaya.
Yeah, very impressive stuff here. They utilize Libero very well. Snowballed into a second cap. Very common on Volskaya. You know, New York fans shouldn't breathe a sigh of relief just yet, as we may see another fast time bank for the Dynasty.
Now let's see what they can do when we come back from the break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
And there they are, the players looking to get that reverse sweep started here with a victory on Volskaya. Very convincing push to start things off. 4:56 in the time bank for them.
Yep. Ryu Jaehong has, you know, been on 2 final stage. He is a 2-time Apex champion. Massive crowds there. He's got that background, right? He's the oldest player on the team. But New York Excelsior have played in 5 stage playoffs of Overwatch League.
Speaking of massive crowds, tickets still available for the Stage 1 playoffs. Make sure you guys, if you're in the Los Angeles area, if you feel like taking a last-minute trip, to go ahead and pick those up. Join us here with a live audience, because these guys are great. They're here repping the teams. They got the jerseys on. They're ready for some action. So let's go forward with Dynasty on this attack.
So when you look at this attack for Dice, they're going to once again rely on Michelle's Sombra. And when you look at this quad DPS setup here, or triple DPS actually I should say, Jeong's on the Ana, it is very difficult to stop with the 3-3 comp that Excelsior are running, but they've already pre-positioned to make it difficult for Fleta to find damage. Coming out here though is going to be his best bet, as they do poke out right now as the point gets contested by Fisher.
Good isolation there on Abana with the D-Matrix inside the garage from Mecco. Keeps him safe from a lot of the rockets, but the wrap around the back. Get some good tags, and the direct hit on the Jonic will take him down. That could be the break on the point already as they lose their most crucial member. Rockets still raining in from above. Mecco nearly eliminated as he pushes forward and tries to finish off Jexay, but he'll be unable to do that. They will clean them up, and this should be the cap coming in for the Dynasty after some extended kills.
They're just certainly reading the way New York sets up on the point. They did this exact same thing just previously on Hollywood, where they had Michelle come in on the back of the point, draw New York out, because they have to contest the point, then they use their positional advantage to take it. In this case, it's with a Pharaoh, right? They can hide in that room all they want until Fisher steps onto the point, at which point New York has to come out or the cap will come through, and that leaves Seoul Dynasty with now a massive combo here. After the cap, EMP into Barrage is one of the most difficult things to defend. They have no support ultimates here. This looks like, very likely, unless a botched EMP, a better time bank for Seoul right now.
Well, let's see, Fleta. Again, just going to be taking these shots from above, trying to find a target. Sees an Ama there for a second. Costin just flicking around, can't quite tell which one he wants to pay attention to.
Pops this so they can see the supports.
Yep, sees where everyone's at. Nano's going to be thrown down. Fleta gets the first shot. Johnny going to be taken out. Now the barrage coming in. Nene nearly burned down. Manages to retreat. So that's going to be the two ultimates going to be used, but now Mono taken down there in onto the point as Mecco should be knocked out here. They'll be able to finish them off. They start ticking up the first one, getting ready to come through. And like you said, superior time bank getting ready to be there.
Huge, huge play by Munchkin there with the visions. And that is going to be what allows him to find Junk. He's got the trance up now.
But Nene's still going to be taken down. Fisher gets another kill as Libero just walks right into him.
They're just trying to buy time.
They pop him. Mono pushing forward. Going lower and lower, they poop him off. They're nearly there with 5.5 minutes about in that time bank. Munchkin making sure that he's not going to get pinched onto the side. Gets a headshot there on a Mecco, knocks him out again. Mono going lower and lower. The Shatter about to be online, but Fleta takes him down. Munchkin just looking for a target. Now gets a shot there on the Nene. They retreat. They're giving up the point, and that just about will be it. The headshot comes back through. Libero cowering in the corner with the rally, rolling, hoping to God the armor's going to be enough. The sound barrier will help him out a little bit longer here. They try to extend this, but the EMP comes down. The barrage melts him, and Dynasty will get the cap.
Huge defense by New York, though they bought a lot of time. Really like the oversight play. Isolate Jonak, find him, kill him first. That is exactly what they did on the attack. But still, New York makes the time bank pretty even.
Yeah, 4 seconds faster. Let's see what happens in OT. And here we go, 2 very healthy time banks for the overtime half of Volskaya. 5-minute finish, even for the Dynasty, 4:56 for NYXL. Let's take a look at Munchkin, though, on that point be take.
So Munchkin is able to, with his, his ultimate here, he's going to identify where the supports are, so he's able to track them here. So this is actually a huge moment. Even though he can't kill Jonah, they're able to find out where he is in that moment and kill him with the rockets that come through right afterwards there from the Farah. So New York Excelsior just going to continue with their 3-3 here. Remember, it was off of good plays from Libero that opened this point for them just previously. And they actually did it from the right side. Let's see if they're going to still attempt this left side that they normally do. They're actually going to be met with aggression here.
Yeah, really aggro drop down coming in. Fisher takes a beating, but so does Anamo, so has to go ahead and peel back. Munchkin behind the shield will be able to get topped up. Left-hand side approach, moving up onto that high ground again, is going to be the play for the NYXL. Just a bit messier to get there this time around.
This is a really nice spot for the NYXL, though. They're actually going to take this away at the top of the bunker.
Munchkin trying to gatekeep them off. Fisher starting to push forward onto the corner, but doesn't have that much support already. One tick going to be given over.
Libero.
Going lower and lower, but gets that Zarya shield crucially to stay alive. He says there's not going to be one from Mono, but he is still going to be able to find the kill on the Fisher. Pushing forward, the heals, the focus fire on the Mono from his squad, just enough to help keep him in the mix. JJoNak still going to be spamming away in from above. Deals the pressure, has to pop the Transcendence, so will not have that for the snowball push onto B if they can close this out here, but it seems very likely, given the Soul is completely shoved away from the point at the moment.
Yeah, they're just knocked away. Munchkin will tag on one more time. Fleda's high energy. They can't get him into position. He's got the grab.
Yeah, 100 energy, going to be ready to go. Transcendence already open sync from Meko pops Michelle out of the suit. Fisher has rejoined. He's still very far away from that Earth Shatter.
They might
actually be able to do this. Fleda still just holding, waiting for the moment to pull the trigger. He sees that D.Va is in behind him. He doesn't want to have to use it. He would love to hold on to it. He's under so much pressure, and then he will be able to burn he and Jexay down. The cap comes through. Maybe could have turned it here, but now it will at least, for the silver lining, have the grab for the defense.
Yeah, the big problem here, though, is that now they have split spawns, and JJoNak is going to have a trance here for his grab, which he did not have before. I think this is a bad call in the moment for the Dynasty.
Grab going to be coming out, Nene locking them up. Jexay getting focused, will get burned down. JJoNak finding the kill, bombs out, not going to find anything. The Shatter going to come in, Michelle pops one, and Mono taken down by Jaehong. Now working their way in, but already 84.5% surrender. Now it's ticking up again. Somebody's got to tag in. Can anyone do it? They burn down Jaehong. Fisher's going to be gone. Sound barrier does come through, but it's just Michelle here really trying to keep things rolling for his squad. 3 minutes on the clock at the moment as they burn him out of the mech and finish him off. Now Fisher coming back through, pops that adaptive shield, but it just does not stand a chance. Hot knife through butter there for the NYXL as they close out a double cap here in OT.
Very impressive stuff by New York on the first attack there. They were losing the fight and were able to turn it around. But that was a questionable moment where we had the first-person view of Fleda, who was 100 energy, and he hesitated. You know, the call was not swift to make that play to try to hold A, or at least to try to trade out ultimates. By the time, you know, he looked like he was ready to grab, two more of his teammates had died already. And then when he got over to, or you know, when he respawned late, so New York had positional advantage, and they had the Transcendence that JJoNak was able to finish during that longer fight where he did not commit to the grab. There was a small window of time where the Graviton Surge could come out there when there was no defending Transcendence from JJoNak, and those are the moments where you have to think of your ult trackers, right? And, you know, perhaps in that moment it was too chaotic for Jexay, who's, at least, you know, from what we know in Korea, often the guy who's going to track those ultimates, might not have been able to realize in that moment JJoNak did not have it, so they thought, we'll wait for B. But in that delayed moment, your spawns get staggered. This is not an unwinnable map for Dynasty, but it is a much better time for New York than they would have liked. They're going to go for their attack here once again with the Sombra, but not showing the Widow, at least just not yet. They might be swapping to it now. Munchkin having great success with this just previously.
Well, still sticking with this Tracer for now.
Okay, interesting choice.
Yeah, changing it up just a little bit, but overall, going to be fairly similar.
One of his more famous heroes back in Korea.
It is. Is he not playing into the side garage? They're playing right here at the point at the moment. Munchkin, oh, so very low there. Jaehong in the meantime off screen, going to be burnt down. Munchkin still pushing forward, feeling hungry for some Libero, but he can't quite finish him off. He manages to get himself into a corner, shield raised. He does stay alive, so far this attack from the Dynasty not going to be working out so well.
Yeah, it looks like the Mego swap, and this is already a disaster, given that New York got such a great timing, nearly 3 minutes. They head back to spawn, and look to, in fact, stick with this composition, so they're faking the swap. I don't think anyone's going to fall for this, though. It's very easy to identify. There are no swaps. Fisher is caught alone, and this is nowhere near the EMP charge they need. There's a pick, though.
Yeah, so far off the point. They're hunting out for Fisher and Michelle. Getting halfway to a tick, and Mono's going to be taken down. Now Munchkin here trying to cap this one up, but Jexay going to be eliminated. Meko now, however, going to be taken down. Fisher gets the pile driver in, finishes off the baby D.Va. Munchkin, pulse bomb online. Does he use it to kill the Lucio? His tracking is too good, doesn't need it. Let's go ahead and finish him off, and it seems like Seoul will finally break their way through, but like you said, the time bank did get drained down considerably, so beating or matching NYXL, they need to get the snowball very swiftly to make that happen. It'll be about a minute difference.
Yeah, about a minute difference, as you say. This is a really rough spot for New York, and they did not respond well to the fake swap. They came out of spawn, they were trying to figure out what was going on, and they got split a little bit there, and Seoul Dynasty's comp works best against split heroes, especially when you've got a Tracer in the mix and there's no support there, no one to stun the Tracer. Now, New York has the ult advantage here, but they've got to be careful of that EMP that can change everything in an instant. So can a pick onto Jonak here by Munchkin.
Will have the Transcendence online, so at least can save himself from a pulse bomb should it come through. Mono jumping into the back, just gonna be burnt down. The Primal Rage didn't have it in time. Munchkin manages to find the kill. Now things are looking really rough. Good eat though. Meko turns around, manages to deny that pulse bomb away, but Fisher finds another kill with the minefield. Zenning gets taken down, and Meko's gonna be popped out in the end. Barrage online. Up here in the air, Fleta waiting for his opportunity, waiting for that Transcendence from Jonak to expire. No, drops it. EMP rolls through, claims 2, and it offers up plenty more damage there on the Libero. Mono finally, this time around, will be able to use the Primal Rage to stay alive, but the rest of the squad is dead around him.
They should
Not
buy a lot of
nothing,
time.
however, Seoul Dynasty already going to be a weaker time bank. Need to get the cap here.
They just need to buy time. That's huge if they can demech Meko here.
They got the hack onto him, so he can't use the D-Matrix and try to keep himself in the mech. Grab going to be coming through, locks up Fisher alone. He's just going to be spinning around, doesn't really know what to do, but seems like he doesn't have to do much because he's managing to survive. Sound barrier comes out from Anamo now.
York can stabilize.
They're going to try.
York's going to stabilize.
Libero gets the pick on the Jayhawk, but they need a little bit more than that. Rez comes in, Jexay managing to stay alive, but barely so. Another barrage from Fleta. Built that one up so rapidly. Gets the kill on the Mono. Now Munchin going to be taken down. We already claim a little bit over 2 ticks. Now Nene going to be eliminated, but Jonak picks off Jayhawk again, but Jonak goes down as Michelle finds the kill. Fisher pushes him back. They're trying to get the cap. They managed to get it just shy of 2 minutes.
They did not touch the point there, and Seoul is going to tie us up 4-4. Such a near stabilization there from the Excelsior, despite Mono leaping in, misjudging his ultimate charge there, hoping he could go for the Primal. That opened up the point for an otherwise pretty ult-dry Seoul Dynasty. But then they were able to, with a great barrage from Fleta, turn things around. And, you know, the time bank here, still superior for New York Excelsior. But we were looking at potentially a hold here in a 1 map. Had that stabilization continue to occur, where they were, by stabilization, I mean, you start to get the faster respawn. Seoul Dynasty has to run all the way back from attack every time. You're running out of spawn, you're fighting on spawn practically, and that's where things can really start to go poorly for the attacking team, because the attacking team on assault maps basically needs to get 3 or 4 kills minimum to actually capture the point, because if you only get 1 or 2, you're eventually just going to get worn down. You're going to run out of cooldown, so there's going to be keep running back out of spawn.
Yeah,
trickling, as they call it.
A great push there from Fisher to knock final 2 members of NYXL away.
Yes.
You know, it's not a letter number situation.
No, certainly not.
To those of you in the chat who I know were spamming it, but it's good move by him. But the time bank, 54 seconds less for the Dynasty. They'll be on the attack first.
They have to attack again because they have the smaller time bank. That's how assault rules work. So now we're going to see, once again, Munchkin on the Tracer. What happened with New York last time was they got split apart and isolated because they tried to go to the spawn. I don't think they'll fall for that trick again this time. Themselves sneaking around the backside. He's probably going to tag the point here.
Oh, they're looking to just go ahead and meet him right up front. But Meko taking so much damage. It's that Zarya bubble, tries to stay alive. Shot still coming in. Fleta, the great angle at the moment, trying to finish off Jonak, and Meko will get popped out in the end, and Munchkin finishes off the Baby Diva. Things already unraveling for the NYXL here. Let's see if they can stabilize this time around. Mono going lower, gets the armor pack, trying to stay alive. The hack comes in. He's got nowhere to go. No healing coming out from his squad. Burned down as Fisher claims a double kill. Jaehong will be traded back, but Jonak's gone immediately thereafter, and that will be the cap onto A coming through.
Michelle's hack onto Meko is what opened this whole thing up. Your first, enemy as a Pharah is walls, right? Something that's going to block your damage. Your second enemy is defensive matrix coming out from a Diva. With that particular hack onto Meko from Michelle, he had free reign of damage on open terrain where New York actually left to fight. They were reliant on Meko. Michelle identifies this, gets the hack, and they open it up. There's potential here for a second cap if they can build that EMP efficiently here. And I mean, Nene is not even close to a grab.
Well, they just go ahead, dash over, and Munchkin takes down Jonak, still holding onto the pulse bomb. Looking for an opportunity, throws it down, doesn't find the stick. I believe he almost recalled on top of it as well, but the Raj going to be coming through. Nene not able to react in time. They can't get the shield back, but Fleta will go ahead and kill himself off. Manobu's going to be tossed in on the Munchkin, pushes forward, manages to find Mono. Fleta's going to be raised back in. Neko going to be popped.
Libero missed the stun.
Gets a hit there on the Libero, takes him down. The point's going to be wide open. Minefield cutting him off on the right side approach. And this might just be it as long as they can stop the stragglers from NYXL making their way through. Fleta gets rid of Jonak. Sure does get finished off, but maybe they even have a res for him. Seems like he's just going to go ahead, res naturally. As NYXL try to extend this, but Fleta gets that A. The pulse bomb coming in. Munchkin building up another one so rapidly. This time he has the kill. They finish him off. It's going to be one after the other. NYXL just desperately trying to buy as much time as they possibly can. Jonak pushing forward. Gets the Transcendence up. Now, going to be expiring. Now he's under threat from all of the DPS of the Seoul Dynasty. The rockets raining down from above. Nane going to be taken down. Another barrage in from Fleta. Get rid of Jonak. Both going to be finished off. 2 seconds remaining. The OT will be there for Seoul Dynasty. NYXL have extended this fight successfully to at least ensure an OT finish for the Dynasty. But now they're in a position where, with, again, a very small time, they themselves have to push through into B. Seoul Dynasty will be finished off here, but they build up nearly 80% on the point as Fisher makes his exit, so not going to have that double cap, but NYXL still not out of the woods yet, but looking really good.
The composition that we've seen so many times from Chengdu Hunters is what we're seeing essentially here from Dynasty, and the strength of the composition is its ability to get single kills and picks with high damage but low sustainability. There's not a lot of hit points on the side of the Dynasty with this type of attack. There's only one tank. The res can do a lot for you, but when you look at how long we're going to take a look at this final moment here with Jonak, but when you take a look at the health here, you know, you're not going to live through right clicks as Jonak gets 2 critical kills here.
Yeah, the big turnaround there.
And there's just more sustainability for the tankier team that has respawn defense. If you could stabilize for just a moment, and I mean just 1 second, as New York did there, you're going to have a great opportunity. Now, they have a win condition on this map. No longer is it a draw. And by the way, this is first to 3, not best of 5. So it's not a situation where if a draw happens, Seoul wins, because you actually have to get the 3 wins, different than regular season.
Very correct.
But yeah, that's the weak point of what Dynasty is running. It runs out of steam very quickly when you don't have these big EMP combos or you're not able to get all these kills. I was worried for New York there because it looked like they forgot their fundamentals. I mean, Brigitte is what you need to have next to your Zenyatta when there's a Tracer around. That's why Tracer's no longer meta, because Brigitte exists, and yet the positioning was bad there, so Dynasty abused it, but now they've got to have a stellar defense here if they want to close this series out with a 3-0.
Well, it will be the Sombra coming through from Michelle on defense. Showing us this now.
So this is D.Va-less, and that means that it's going to be very easy for Nene to put his Graviton Surge exactly where he wants it.
Yep.
So that's the one drawback of what Seoul Dynasty is running, as well as lack of being able to knock people off the high ground. We are going to see New York abusing that fact right now. So there's no one who can really prevent them other than Jexay from just leaping across here.
Yeah, well, they go ahead, they push forward. Looking to get Tez Dynasty up top.
Jexay does
off their way down. Fisher getting some good swings in. The support's under fire, and that's going to be an Amala Jonak taken down. Cleanup will come through Seoul Dynasty. Looking good on the first volley. And you can see Jaehong pretty there, halfway towards that Transcendence.
Jexay in this moment, along with Munchkin, just preventing them from sticking to the top of this bunker here, which was New York's plan throughout the outset. And they are going to need this next push to work, because if this one fails, they're going to be down on elephants and against an EMP. And suddenly it looks like Seoul takes 3-0. Munchkin just looking for that hack once again on the backline, or the D.Va. Meko the primary target.
I mean, Meko taking so much damage, tries to push him up, gets stunned, but drops down.
They're on it.
And almost slowly going to be healing him up. Now he gets that orb of harmony out from Jonak, who is under fire and taken down. Michelle finds the kill, and this is what we were seeing just at the end of that last round of OT. It's live or die by Jonak. He comes in with a main, gets a double kill, turns the fight around in an instant. He gets picked off, and now suddenly it's looking like a full hold here for Dynasty in these OT rounds.
I mean,
a minute remaining.
How can they do it against EMP Grav? There's not enough Transcendence here. You know, he's only got one. If you Transcendence the EMP, then you're going to die to the Grav. You Transcendence the Grav, you're going to die to the EMP. You get hit by the EMP first, it's over at that moment. This is it. This is New York's last chance.
Namo pushing forward. Echo, he's already going to be popped out. They melt right through him. But with the grab online, the EMP comes down. It's going to be over. There's 40 seconds remaining, and it hits Jonak. As you say, the Transcendence unable to come through. One more chance. That's all they've got. NYXL, they have to pull off a miracle right now if they can break through. And then they still have to get 80%.
This next attack is going to be Meko tagging the point first. He has to be the one to touch it, or Anamo. And if they die, this becomes a 6v5. Remember, there are 5 ultimates for the Dynasty. Nene doesn't even have energy here.
But there's nearly 6 here for the NYXL. That's going to be their condition. There's no way to take away this grab from Nene.
They need a
as
touch.
long as he can build it.
There needs to be a touch here. 8
10 seconds coming in. Anamo already going to be knocked down to half HP. They get in on the point. Dynasty going to be matching them. Michelle under some fire goes low. Munchkin as well getting melted down. Shatter comes in. It locks up Libero. Locks up Anamo in the back. The energy's not high enough, and Jonik pops the Transcendence to try to get them alive. They're in onto the point. They're taking their way up. Fleta tries to use a grab, but Meko takes it away. That can actually do it. Sound barrier comes through. They lock him up. Meko's dropping the bomb up over the top. Can he get the picks? Yes, they absolutely can. A quadra kill for Meko. New York Excelsior. They get the fight here, but they have to use everything.
It's not over yet.
Now they have to get the B.
It's not over yet. 2 huge plays for Meko. The eat on the grab is absolutely the turnaround, but they have no way to mitigate the EMP here on the defense, not to mention that the Transcends from Jaehyung means it's a more sustained fight. They need a pick, and they need it right now.
Can they do this? 19 seconds remaining to get that 30-second buffer.
They get it!
Munchkin going to be taken down. Jaehyung now going to be using the Transcend. It's not going to be early enough to keep him alive. The EMP comes out. It catches the rest of them. Anamo going to be hacked out. Jonik still trying to build up for that Transcendence. There's 7 seconds remaining, and he is caught out. He is in such a bad position. Libero, however, trying to get back, finds Fisher. Michelle going to be
God!
They're starting to take their way up. NYXL, they might just be able to do this. The Transcendence is going to be used. The rally coming through from Libero right now. Everybody going to be armored up. Fleta swaps over, stunned up, melted down. The adaptive shield, not enough to keep him alive. They're almost to the second tick. Jexay going lower and lower. They get it! Oh my God! They actually pull it off. NYXL backed into a corner. They come up with the win on Volskaya. They will not go down 0-3.
Absolutely crazy plays here. They get the pick they need. They build the trance. The rally comes out, and New York keeps their chances alive here after such a deficit.
It's just one step, though. They still need so many more wins. Let's see if they can continue this and tie it up when we come back for the next map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
재홍이 형, 나 절대 못 이기게 해줄게.
Jaehyung, I will make sure you will never win against me.
Well, he's trying to live up to that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Jonik dragging them back from the brink with that May play in the defense and OT.
Insane.
Helps them deny away that double cap, and then just picking off people in the back, layering in that damage with his Zenyatta in that final approach. They needed almost 80%. They were able to get it. Now they have a win on the board, so not backing down without a fight.
Map choice now for the Dynasty for the first time as we head into Escort. And we're going to take a look at the stats here just really quick. You can see higher hero damage on Zenyatta. This does not include the Mei he played there in the end. And overall, was able to do more healing. Played the longer game, so that stat is important. But look at what he's able to do with more deaths as well. It means the time he spent alive, you know, ends up being more valuable overall. This has been a back and forth matchup between Master and Apprentice, as we said. And it will be Rialto, the map choice here. Very much an intelligent move by Seoul, because if you're going to a map like Route 66, that's where you're going to have the most potential for big shatter bomb combos with Meko and Mono. You're going to have the more potential for Jonak to do damage at range. It's hard for Jonak to do a lot here on this map because of the narrow choke points you see. This is going to be an escort point for those who are newer fans here. So you skip the first part of Hybrid. You just start with the cart. You don't have to capture anything. You just push the cart. So the entire fight, the entire map, every fight takes place around the cart, generally speaking, because that is the point of contention. But Jonak is going to struggle to find long-range damage. He's always going to be under threat if he does step forward to do damage, because of how this map works with these narrow choke points, wide wide spots where he's going to find success around A, but after that, it's basically never.
Dynasty first on the attack. Munchkin showing us the Widow for now, just trying to find an opening pick you would expect. Yep. We'll go ahead and peel back. Michelle, however, likely going to be staying with this Sombra.
He has easily been the most impactful person of Seoul tonight with this Sombra, just finding the critical hacks on either the backline or the D.Va. D.Va's been the main target here, gonna find it again. I noticed when you hack the D.Va like this, look how much ult charge he has built, 25.
Yeah.
And he can just do it again once it's off cooldown. That also pressures the D.Va, means that it cannot absorb damage coming out from the rest of the squad, making Fleta able to get more right-click damage done, as well as build that energy. And we're just getting to this point where, you know, we have to make the question, like, should we see Meko match him? You know, it's not his normal. We don't almost ever see him play the Sombra, but he is losing the off-take matchup here versus a Sombra.
All right, now the wraparound, hugging the wall, trying to stay as stealthy as possible. NYXL work their way over to the back of the payload, so Dynasty just trying to break this defense so they can start advancing it. Michelle playing very far forward, still building up, not quite online yet, 14% away from that EMP. Might just be what is necessary for the Seoul Dynasty to finally get this cart moving.
Yeah. Okay, look at the position here of Nene. He's so far back. He's not able to really build a whole lot of charge. This is so frustrating for New York right now, as they're losing valuable time. And the grab advantage here for Fleta is so easy to pull off when you have this harassing Sombra. EMP's ready.
Finally starting to push their way forward. Throws that one down, but does not catch Jonak. However, Mono still focus fired enough to find the pick-off. Dynasty, they need a little bit more than that, though, if they want to get the cart rolling, and Michelle is going to be taken down. It'll finally start moving in their favor, but they're still playing forward, looking for additional kills. On the inside of the hotel, Shatter going to be dropped in by Fisher. Jonak and Libero both taken down by Jayhong. That'll be the cleanup.
That was insanely smart, too, because this means that they don't use Fleta's grab. He gets to hold it. They know Jonak just used Transcendence to counter the EMP. So massive advantage here for Seoul Dynasty as they push around this corner. Not to mention that in the EMP, you see a lot of the Trance will be blocked. Gets the kill there onto Jonak. So flipping around there, but the fight was essentially won by the Shatter.
Great flank, but does not get them point A yet. Still another contest coming through from NYXL. Grab going to be coming through. Going to get that trance in there. Will be able to do so. Shatter comes out, but it's not going to lead to any kills so far for the NYXL. Bomb, however, will do it! Meko finds another quadra kill.
This is the tank line, right, working together to set this up. We've seen this a lot, actually. One of Meko's most famous highlight clips that we've played so many times, and I commentated, happened right here on A. This one was in the choke. And it's in these small choke points only where you're going to see that sort of value, right? With the, shatters coming through as Jayhong. Probably just missed a jump there across the bridge, but...
Question mark. Maybe we'll get to see it.
Probably.
Either way, that could be a very nerve-wracking moment right there for Jayhong.
Okay,
falling off like that.
This does buy time, like you say. Nerve-wracking moment. But Michelle needs to be hurrying up with this EMP. Without it...
Oh! Okay. And
he was dueling. He was gonna lose that fight.
No more charge for you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and let myself die, so makes sense. caught out. But here we go, 35 seconds.
of that EMP for Michelle. This is the moment. This is what they need it for.
The push forward coming in from the NYXL, trying to go aggro.
France early.
That will be the Transcendence coming in. Sound barrier coming out from Seoul Dynasty. Shatter manages to find a couple, but the kill's not going to be there. Transcendence firing, Mono hacked out, taken down. Jexay finds the killing blow. They can finally start pushing their way forward. 15 seconds left on the clock. Just have to bring this cart around the corner. Michelle hunting for a target. Jonak way in the back by himself, disconnected from his squad, will be taken down, and that should pretty much guarantee A for the Seoul Dynasty. So not going to be full held on Rialto.
Not the best time bank, but they do win this with pretty good ult efficiency. And I have to say, that was the exact right move for Jonak to be in that spot after the fight was lost, because that's going to be how he's going to build the most ult charge. They can't take a fight on this bridge, because it's even if he tries to, jump off the side to reset faster, he's not going to be able to help against that anyways. So he built the best out of a bad situation with that. But now they just need to, again, deal with Michelle. This is a tough part for Sombra, as you can see, sneaking around.
Grab coming in, locks him up. On top of the wall here, Transcendence out from Jaehong. Helps keep them alive. Pin in, Mono going to be taken down as Fisher clips himself a double kill. 3 members burned down. The right click there from Fleta. Doesn't even look at the explosion.
It is.
Pushes them off, and the card will continue to go ahead and just steamroll through.
It is important to remember, too, that throughout this stage, Sombra has kind of been the X factor. Teams who've run Sombra well have tripped up a lot of the other teams, and she does cheat ult economy oftentimes. New York Excelsior has been winning most of their series with dominant performances, so to be behind in ult, to be behind in positioning is rare for them, and you can see them struggle in these moments where they're just not used to trading down on ultimates repeatedly in fights. They do get this high ground, though.
Yeah, playing around the stairs. It's one of the more awkward spots for an attacking team on Rialto, and Michelle going to be taken down.
This is the hardest part of Rialto, is this staircase here, because the attacking team has no realistic way of knocking them off without taking the staircase path themselves, which leaves them vulnerable to the choke point. If they take the low ground, they're going to eat a lot of damage on their way around as well. So you can see New York is just abusing this really well. The X Factor becomes the Sombra again, though.
Pushing their way forward. Shatter's going to be coming through. Mono trying to match. Munchkin taken down first, however. No support ultimates available for the Seoul Dynasty, so fight, trying to turn something like this around. It's not looking very good for them, so they do maintain control right now due to the NYXL. There's 30 seconds left for Dynasty.
You could see the idea here was for Dynasty to force New York to clump up around this doorway, and then see a massive EMP coming through, or, an isolated kill onto Jonak. It doesn't work out, it's a little bit mistimed. And now they've got another shot at it. They still have the EMP. Jonak's hiding to hit the Transcendence. You can see in the picture-in-picture.
EMP comes out. Jonak gets the Transcendence off to try to keep his squad alive. Nene going to be taken down despite that. Grab coming through, and now Libero and the rest of the squad will be cut down. NYXL losing out on the fight, losing out on the point. So again, in overtime, Seoul Dynasty losing their way through into point B now. Still holding on to 4 ultimates.
Yeah, this is a huge positional advantage, or ultimate advantage for the Seoul Dynasty. They cheated ult economy again with that EMP. And even though Jonak timed the Transcendence, he was away from his team. They win the fight anyways, and essentially at 6v5 during that moment. Lose there. Second time the charm on that attack for the Dynasty.
Rally coming out as they push their way forward. Munchkin trying to lead the charge. Shatter is out from Fisher, but doesn't find much. But the Fire Strike will bump him back up nicely towards that goal. Grab coming in, locks up a couple right here into the front. The Transcendence coming down, and Mono gets a pin on the Fleta to go ahead and eliminate him. Denying that last little leg of charge that he needed for the grab to come in. Now Fisher picked off. The front line going to be broken, and NYXL will maintain control of this choke with a lot of ultimates about to be online.
So when I was talking about Michelle and Sombra cheating ult economy, what I mean is they're behind now, as is now being highlighted. New York has the better ult charge, and they have this choke controlled. If Michelle can hack multiple members, they'll be unable to use their ultimates, and Seoul Dynasty could then flip the fight, despite the Transcendence. So Jonak cannot be caught.
Oh, rally out from Libero, fighting right on the inside here. Transcendence again, not going to be interrupted by that EMP. Jonak gets it off this time. Shield comes through from Anamo, trying to keep him alive with a shatter from Fisher. Absolutely massive the bomb, getting ready to go off. Not going to be able to find anything. Meko does make it back in properly here, and Jaehong picks up 2 kills for his squad, but they need a lot more. They also need to get back over onto the cart to try to get this OT rolling through. Jexay is there, is moving it up a bit, but he is all on his lonesome, and he needs support desperately. 3 members now playing around the cart. As Jaehong gets the Transcendence online, it's okay, guys, we gotta roll it back through. Gets the Transcendence up. Fleta manages to find Jonak. Takes him down, the cart continues to advance, but they need the rest of the squad to be joining in.
The EMP, he's so close to building it. If he could just get one clip off onto the Diva in the backline, once Meko remix, that's going to be their best opportunity here. NYXL will have to touch. They've got plenty of time. There it is.
Yeah, 2.2 meters left to go. Mono pushing forward. Zarya Bubbles coming in. Spletta tries to build one up, but he's still so very far away. 40% for him. Nene at 60. Dangerously close
95.
to bar. Gonna start plummeting here. The shadow, they get the shield bash in. They drop it. The EMP, they try to turn things around, catches all 6. They manage to find
Michelle, can he do it?
They get the rest. The crowd comes in. Fleta, he tries to do it, but he's on the other side of the pillar. He's not on the cart. It was gonna be a one fight for the Dynasty, but they shift off.
Very close call there. I mean, we were just moments away from Fleta and Michelle wiping everybody else off. Fleta having massive energy, and Michelle having the ability to do that damage. Sombra, we think of her as a hacker, we think of her as somebody who can cause massive disruption, but in a scrappy fight like that, with the accuracy Michelle has, he will kill those members. But unfortunately, as you say, the pillar blocks the touch on the cart, and they will not get completion. This leaves a direct win condition for New York Excelsior to bring us to a Game 5 if they can push it all the way.
And if that is what decides the Game 5, what a way to really shake yourselves up if you are the Seoul Dynasty. Chat, you have my permission. Go ahead and spam it. It was, in fact, a C9. And here we go.
It was sort of a... The thing is, too, in that situation, it's tough to touch. You know,
it is. It is.
You're being forced back by the defending team.
But it fits the parameters.
Sure.
But here we go.
It's not an egregious one.
Dynasty.
Watch it again.
They're gonna have to have one heck of. They're gonna have to have one heck of a defense. We'll go ahead and take a look at this Meko bomb coming through again, delivering. Fisher. Oh, he pushes it out.
That was actually a huge mistake by Fisher.
Oh.
And that's one of those things that's gonna stick on your mind. They are ahead in this series, but that's something he's got to remember, because that was perhaps, what could have led to a much better time bank. Moving into New York Excelsior, Jonek teases the Pharah, but we knew we weren't going to see that. If anyone would play Pharah, it would be Libero.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think they're probably going to try to save that for later off in the playoffs, if they can make it that far.
Very true. Still is match point here, but look at the tie things up with a strong attack.
Once again,
getting tagged up. Ooh.
Yeah, once again, Michelle on this Sombra. Meko just always hunting him down. That's why you see him spamming left click here, is just trying to find it. You can reveal a Sombra by hitting them with any damage. And Michelle once again just gets a hack and gets 25% of ult.
It's gonna be a similar wraparound coming through here. But a little bit disconnected from his squad, trying to stay alive. The right click's coming in, really trying to finish him off, but it's actually gonna be Michelle finding the first kill as Libero does get taken down. Hack in onto a Brigada is a very brutal thing for the player. So eliminated, but still ahead as far as rally charge is concerned. Munchkin hasn't been able to get too many swings in.
Yeah. All right, when you look at this wraparound here, this is the one where Seoul Dynasty is looking to actually complete the EMP. New York showing themselves. Nice eat on that Fire Strike by Meko. That's going to give them high ground. Michelle is still not able to get the last parts of that damage. That's what they need so desperately to hold this, because they've taken so much damage themselves. Remember, they lack a Diva, which means they cannot mitigate the damage that's coming out from New York. So just not getting this EMP in time, that's the hold condition here for the Dynasty, and they don't have it 6% away.
They're just going to go ahead and push right in. The answer, almost yes. 0.6 coming in. Now the EMP going to be tossed. Jonek will get hacked out, but seems like it's going to time out before he's going to be, now can just go ahead and use that Transcendence to get the setup here on the Fisher. So despite a 6-man EMP coming in from Michelle, they still just basically push straight into A.
When you're running a Sombra like this, your ideal situation is to hit the EMP before the touch on A. Then to build another one and continue that ult advantage, right? Through the cheating ult economy, basically, as the theme I've been saying here with this Sombra. He uses it a split second too late, and it doesn't matter. And now this is an amazing time bank for New York Excelsior. They realize, based on his positioning, he doesn't have it yet. We're going to go. We're going to fight here.
Yeah.
Toss in the grab. Smart plays from Excelsior that lead to, a pretty nice ult economy on top of the time bank.
I mean, they are, just rolling through right now. Libero getting caught right up into the front, but not going to be taken down. Shatter will go ahead and knock the break down, but again, there's no one there to try to scoop the kill. The armor was still rolling through from the rally as well, so Libero more than safe. Armors up everyone on his squad. Back on that Nene, and Dynasty constantly pushing back, not able to push forward. What they want to be able to do. The grab, however, going to be coming down, locks them up as they look for a couple kills. Transcendence going to be coming in. Jonak pushing forward, keeping everybody topped up, and now Fisher in an awkward position will be taken down. Mono going to be on the trade. Echo dumps the bomb, finds a pick on the J-Hong though. And New York Excelsior continue to trade up a fight-for-one exchange.
And remember, this staircase, one of the toughest parts to cross through. Michelle, again, in the critical moment, does not have his EMP ready. Mono charges in, splits the team in half. They get control of the high ground. And that EMP, in this moment, you never want to use it here. You don't want to use it for a part where you could win a fight just by default. You want to use it for those critical moments, and he's not able to hit it in time. And again, New York gets through this tough spot without dealing with that EMP. The trade-off is there's no self-destruct. There's no shatter combo like we saw in the previous choke, right, from Mono and Meko. You can't utilize that when you're running the Sombra. So the EMPs need to be ready in time, and finally New York is shutting that down.
Pushing forward, the EMP comes out. Munchkin already going to be taken down, but they get Mono in the trade back. Extra hack there on the Libero. And it will be a one fight for Seoul Dynasty as they finally stabilize here on Rialto. Couple ults getting ready to come online, but there's still 4:15 in the time bank for NYXL.
And this is not the moment where you use the EMP and you feel like you've really won something. It's kind of like, well, of course we're going to win this fight with the EMP. We wanted to win it on the staircase so we can maintain that high control. They don't really have any other advantages here, and New York is still building ultimates with a better time bank. Michelle, very risky.
Yeah, hiding in the corner, trying to find an angle for that hack. Rally comes in from Libero. Michelle taking a bit of damage, will be okay. Fleta just going to be lobbing at these right clicks. Grab comes in, locks him up. Shields are there, trying to go in for that slam. Mono drops the hammer, but doesn't find anybody. But Fisher finds so many for his squad. Transcendence still rolling in for Jonak as they try to get the follow-up kills. Can still go either way for these squads. Fisher, under so much pressure, will be the first one to crumble as Jonak snipes him out. They get the stun, however, and Jonak will be taking down the hack on the Mono. Leads to another kill to the right.
Another EMP
comes through, finds everybody still alive for the NYXL, and that should be the cleanup. But man, what a scrappy fight. That was anyone's game.
All right, remember now, though, EMP's used. Jaehong used Transcendence. Nene's grab versus Fleta's grab will often be, in these situations, the deciding factor. Because Michelle is on the Sombra, they do not have the ability to have that clutch moment we just saw in Volskaya, where Meko comes in and absorbs the grab. So basically, Nene gets to dictate the pace of this. He can put this Graviton Surge wherever he wants it. Seoul Dynasty needs to respond. And oftentimes the response is to grab first. We'll see if they can make that happen.
Shots coming through.
He's looking for
Waiting
Fleta.
for his angle, throws it down, catches the off guard. Fleta's going to be taken down. Jonak finds the kill. Shadow coming in. They push Fisher over to the side of the bomb from Meko. Manages to find the kill. They're only able to get Nene. Jexay is going lower and lower as he tries to retreat to the inside. Will be able to do so. Jaehong going to be 28% away from that next Transcendence, but he needed it yesterday.
And Jonak, if he gets this is pretty much a win for New York. Huge pick onto Fleta. Perfectly done by Nene.
Absolutely massive. They need this grab to pop, but it's going to whip. Mono does push forward. They get the pin on him, but Fisher's still going to be taken out of half HP. They collapse forward. They manage to break the front line of the NYXL, and Jaehong gets the Transcendence ready to roll and uses it. But Jonak arrives with one of his own, keeping the rest of the squad alive. It's going to be the Shatter coming in from Fisher, locks up a couple, trying to get a pin. Takes Nene low. Cart at the moment going to be in control of this whole dynasty.
You know, Jonak always known for his aim, sometimes criticized for his decision-making. One of those moments where he should have held the trance for sure. Now the EMP is ready.
And Fisher is still so dangerous. The EMP catches all 6 of them again right here at the finish. Mono, Libero, Nene going to be taken down, and Meko likely going to be staggered.
Now he would have been caught by the EMP either way because of his positioning, but he knew he didn't have Transcendence. But that was an overextension to use the Trance in that last fight. That was the critical tool they had over Jaehong, because Jaehong didn't have Trance. They could have come in, counter the EMP with a Transcendence, and win that longer fight. Now they find themselves without that tool. Michelle has the ability to build another EMP. That one decision-making mistake from Jonak could cost them this series. So this is a huge, huge problem. Now, Michelle, obviously, resetting to try to build for this, but New York only has a few good pushes left here, and if that EMP is going to be the deciding factor on the final push, it will win Seoul the map. So they need to do something before that's ready.
1 minute and 5 as they arrive back here to the cart. Locked up in this choke, the final gates. NYXL looking for the reverse sweep, need that map 5 first, and they see it right there at the finish line as they try to roll into C. 50 seconds left, Bubbles coming up, trying to build up that energy. Fisher with the shatter online. The grab comes up first. Locking him up. Mono going to be taken down. Fisher swings to win. Libero now eliminated. Fisher gets himself a triple.
This cannot be happening. Jonak cannot be getting hacked when he needs to have these transcendences online. This is the second time Michelle has found him on one of these defensive fights. Michelle gets in there. This is a right-click hack. This is not an EMP. He threads the needle and prevents the counter-ultimate from coming through. So Flutter's grab gets massive value. Michelle is killing it right now.
Yeah, he's looking for another one. He's trying to build this up. He's had so many full squad hacks in this series. Can he do it again to seal the deal for the Dynasty?
Could be a game-winning, series-winning EMP right here.
It really could, but look at all the ultimates here for the NYXL. 6 online. Dynasty a bit further behind the grab. Not there for Fleta. They can still make this work, but it's going to be in overtime as they work their way forward. What was that? He eats it on one inside. It doesn't do jack. Meko throws a bomb into the back of this play, trying to find something. The EMP comes in. The shatter's absolutely huge. Jonak trying to keep him alive, and a novel gets picked in the sound. Now the answering grab comes through. OT going to be ticking down, and they've actually done it. Nene chokes at the final hour, throws the grab off to the side, and Dynasty say thank you very much. We're going to the semis.
Unbelievable upset. No one predicted this. Not a single person. No analyst said that Seoul Dynasty would take this, and they do it in flying colors. Michelle absolutely kills it on the Sombra. That was the X factor. That was what they needed. He was able to find and hack Jonak in such important, critical moments. Jonak with some decision-making mistakes, and overall, in some ways, this is not the New York Excelsior we saw throughout stage 1, but Seoul Dynasty, they come in. It's the old lunatic high roster with Zumba who starts it, and it's Jaehong and the newest member, Fisher, who finish it. And what a series it was. All forms of Seoul Dynasty are from multiple timelines. Their first playoffs, they make a semis, defeating the second-seeded team. You can't ask for a bigger upset than this one. You can't ask for a better story than Seoul Dynasty just coming in absolutely clutch. Michelle on the Sombra, what a... I'm speechless watching his play.
Insane. Insane start for the Dynasty, moving up 2-0. You can see the elation on this squad. We heard at the beginning from the desk, these guys are the pride of Korea. There's a lot of Korean teams in the Overwatch League, but they're the only ones representing the country, and they finally make it to the playoffs, and they finally go to a semifinal. Guys, let's go ahead and hear from some of the players. We've got Danny down on the floor standing by with Ryu Jaehong.
Thanks, guys. What is up, everybody? Give it up for Seoul Dynasty and Ryu Jaehong, everybody. They have done it. They have pulled off the upset. They have defeated the undefeated NYXL. Jaehong, how are you feeling right now? 소감 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
지금 정말 너무 기분 좋고요. 첫 풀업 진출에서 어떻게 보면 뉴욕이랑 풀업 진출하기 전에 런던을 이겼었잖아요. 진출하고 나서는 뉴욕을 이겨서 너무 좋고요. 전 시즌에는 한 번도 못 이겼던 팀들이기 때문에 더욱더 깊은 날이고요. 뜻깊은 날. 너무 좋네요.
Feels really great. You know, before coming into the stage playoffs, we got to defeat London and now NYXL. This is our first ever stage playoffs, and both teams that we defeated were teams that we could have defeated last season. So it really, really feels great. Well, congratulations. And also, the last match you guys played against NYXL, Jonak said that he will make sure that you, actually, Jaehong, will never defeat him. And as we all saw, that didn't really happen, right? So I guess it's your turn, Jaehong. What do you want to say to Jonak? 자, 아까 저번에 뉴욕이랑 경기를 했을 때 조한 선수 이제 재홍 선수가 한 번도 이제 못 이기게 한다 이런 말씀 해주셨는데 이제는 재홍 선수의 차례인 것 같아요. 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
이게 솔직히 저 어제 자기 전에 이기면 어떡하지? 이기면은 혹시 인터뷰를 하면 어떤 말을 해볼까라고 생각을 하면서 잤어요. 그냥 성현아 이겨버렸다 어떡하지?
All right. So last night before going to sleep, I was actually thinking about this, and I thought, what if I win? What if we Seoul Dynasty defeat NYXL? And I guess all I could say is this, Jonak, we did it. We won. That's all I have to say. Everybody, give it up for Jaehong one more time. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you very much, Danny. It turns out that Jonak was in the wrong Star Wars movie. This was Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin could not defeat Obi-Wan.
But I mean, look at this, by the way. Not only have they, upset in this stage in their first playoffs, this is the first time they defeated New York as well. It took them 6 times of playing against them. They even lost this stage 3-1. but they take their very first win against New York. So what a monumental moment this is for the Dynasty. I mean, this is probably their happiest day they've had since they joined the Overwatch League.
I would have to agree with that. It's the first time they're going to have a player of the match in a playoff game. So let's go ahead and figure out who that is. Presented by Omen by HP as always, and it's going to be Michelle.
Of course it's Michelle here. On the Diva to start things off, you know, after we subbed in for Zumba, he had a few moments here on the defense where he was able to utilize high ground. New York couldn't take it back, but it was really his Sombra who stole the show. Constantly finding big hack targets, getting massive EMPs. A third of his EMPs leading into Rialto were actually leading to eliminations. A third of his hacks. Comes away with 124 hacks. So still a third here, basically, with, 44 hack elims versus enemies hacked. And the guy hit the hacks onto Jonak and friends in the most critical moments, especially those 2 hacks where he literally got right-clicked hacked and prevented Jonak from saving those fights.
And he only dies 7 times. And when you think about Jonak, you think about he's the guy who can pick off the Sombras as they're coming in for the EMPs. Wasn't able to do it too many times here, so fantastically done, well-deserved by Michelle. And like Jae-Hong said, they did it. They will be advancing forward. They have the 3-1 over the NYXL. We still have to wait and see who their opponent is going to be.
Yeah. This breaks all the storylines. Rip up the script, because everyone said Excelsior is going to win this stage. And it's Dynasty who upsets them. No one would have thought it. Some people said maybe, we'll see one of our other teams that advances take them out in the semis. It was discussed on the pre-show, but nobody said Dynasty. And now it's time to write a new storyline. How far can Dynasty go?
Well, we have to wait a little bit longer to find out. The semis, of course, going to be coming up on Saturday, but we have another match for you today. It's going to be the Vancouver Titans going up against the Boston Uprising. Already won. Monumental upset. Can we see another one with Boston taking away a series and giving the Titans their first loss? We're going to find out when we come back from the break, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We'll see you in just a few.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.